Okay, we're good to go, and we are live. So,
All right. Well, with those snafus worked out, welcome to the May meeting of the City of Prospect Parks and Recreation Committee. I will be sitting in for Linda today. She has had some personal issues to deal with, so our thoughts and best wishes are with Linda and Kevin. We'll begin with the approval of the March 11, 2024 meeting minutes. If you've had a chance to review those, are there any additions or corrections?
So move.
A second?
Second.
Somebody second that? I think that was the second.
That was Lynn. Second.
Was that you? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? All right. Minutes are approved. Next on the agenda was the mayor's update, but we don't know whether the mayor is going to be in the meeting. And if he does come in, we will just defer that to a later time. Parks updates. I guess, Ron, you know about the tree down on the green trail.
I do now.
Yep. So, have you given any thoughts to a plan for that?
We're gonna cut it up and move it.
So,
That's the plan.
okay, so it will be, it will be cleared to make a path then.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. I was gonna ask Doug about the bridge project and the boardwalk, the Putney Pond Boardwalk project. Since he's not here, Ron, do you know any more about those two items?
No, I've been kind of left out of the loop on the latest stuff. Hold on just a second. I'm texting the mayor now. Don Gibson or the mayor would actually be the best people to talk about that. Okay.
All right, so if the mayor comes in, maybe we'll know more. If not, we'll just defer that to the next meeting. Volunteer t-shirts, Ron, what can you tell us about that?
We are waiting to get in touch with the lady who said she was going to do them, and I have not heard back yet. So I got to get her number from Doug and try to give her a call.
What, is she designing them or what?
No, I've already got the design done. We just need them printed up.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. All right, well, no rush on that either. The swing on the Blue Trail. Do you know anything about that, Ron?
we have not heard back from Jack Brohammer yet. So I was actually talking to Linda this morning about that. We're going to try to nail him down so we can get that rolling.
All right. Parks programs. Tina Bevan is not here today, but she is going to be working on another Adopt a Highway program in July. So we'll be hearing more about that, I would gather, at our next meeting. The next item is the April, Linda has April 6th. It was actually April 7th and April 21st flower walks. And Jacqueline McGrail and I led those walks. Actually, Jacqueline really led it because we didn't need to divide up the participants this time. There weren't enough participants that required us to go into two groups. So Jacqueline led the walks and we had a great time, saw lots of pretty flowers, nothing special to report. We didn't have as many walkers this year as we did last year. So I think, at least the second walk came right after the tornado hit. And it wasn't the most convenient time. So, okay, I see the mayor
mayor is
has
here.
joined us. Welcome.
Thank you.
We had a couple of items on our agenda to ask you about.
Okay,
First of all, would you want to give an update?
I will give an update. We had a mediation in the LDG litigation on, I think it was on Thursday, that went all day. We did not get the case resolved, but I think we made headway. I think we may have set the stage for a settlement in a few weeks. The city of Louisville did not they had their lawyers were there, but they did not send a representative. So they weren't able to effectively negotiate. And because there were non-monetary terms that LDG wanted to negotiate about. So in any event, I'm cautiously hopeful. Maybe that's too optimistic, but I think we may be able to work things out, with them. It's certainly, the experience certainly reduced the animosity on their side toward Prospect. And I think that's a good thing. So that's my report. Oh, I'll mention one other thing, and that is the tornado cleanup is virtually complete. And obviously our public works people did a terrific job. Ashbrit was the national company that does disaster cleanup type operations that the city of Louisville engaged, and they did a terrific job. It was really interesting to work with them and to see how that works. We're going to be responsible for our pro rata share of that expense, and we don't know exactly what that is yet, but we'll find out. We'll pay it when the time comes.
Sounds good. We had a couple of other items on the agenda that we didn't know if you would have an update on, but since you're here, I will ask you. The Putney Pond Boardwalk project, is there anything new that you know about that?
No, not really. Don Gibson's doing a great job of managing that, and we're seeking grant opportunities and trying. It probably would be easier if we would be able to take it all the way to Timber Ridge, but that's challenging, and we haven't quite sorted that piece of it out. But I think we're making progress on that front too.
Okay, and then the bridge project on the Orange Trail, anything on that?
I know they've had some permitting that's been accomplished. Ron, do you have anything new about that, about the pedestrian bridge in Harris Creek Park?
No, we haven't heard anything at all.
Okay.
Last information I had, they were waiting to the end of the spring so we get out of the flood.
All the wet. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's on track. I think that initially they said it would be completed in June. I'm not sure that's really going to occur, but it's moving forward.
Doubt it.
Yeah.
Well, still, I mean, it's a work in progress, and
Oh yeah, no,
that's really encouraging.
I feel very, very good about it. I'm glad we've got Bornstein because we've got a track record with them.
Right.
They're good to work with. They're competent, capable people.
Okay, very good. Well, moving on down here under Parks Programs, we were at the March 16th and April 14th bird walks. Sally had a last minute complication and she couldn't be here today. So she just said that it was nice to have, some different activities in the parks and to offer an opportunity for people who maybe hadn't been to the parks before to participate. And she did have some people from outside the Prospect area participate, which as a realtor, she thinks that's a good thing, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
would agree with that.
I agree. We went on the first of those. I think we were out of town for the second one, but it was terrific.
Yeah,
It was just really good.
right.
I learned a lot.
Pavilion
Oh,
program.
and David was there too.
Um,
David Holmes was there too.
David?
David, don't you agree? I mean, I
Yeah,
thought it was terrific.
I thought the first, we couldn't go to the second one either, but I thought the first one was wonderful.
Yeah, I did too. I really like that fella, and I know he's done a couple of lectures for us too, and that's a great relationship to have.
Sally has signed him up for the Kids Fest to do some salamander demonstrations and things there.
That's
as part of
awesome.
Kids Fest.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the Kids Fest too in just a minute. David, next on the agenda is the Pavilion Programs and Concert Series. And
So
that's-
we've had the Shakespeare in the Park, we had Midsummer Night's Dream. They do just such a superb job. The thing that was really encouraging was the number of people that turned out for that event was much greater than last year. And similar to some of the other performances that we had last summer. I would estimate that we probably had about 100 people there for Shakespeare in the Park. And the weather was spectacular. I mean, it was just really enjoyable.
Oh, good.
And then upcoming,
So we've got every month covered now. And in some months, we have 2 events. So in June, we'll have 2 events. We'll have a concert and we'll also have the Kids Fest. And in July, of course, we'll have the 4th of July event, and then we'll also have a concert later in the month. So it'll be really good to see how all those turned out. I'm going to be out of town for this weekend, but Carolyn will be there and she'll be able to report to us on how the jazz concert goes. He was great last year, so I expect we'll hear good news from him this year.
yeah, so that is this Sunday night, 7 p.m. The Ron Jones Jazz Quartet. For those of you who weren't there last year, Ron Jones is a fabulous jazz saxophonist, alto saxophone. And he brings his talented group of musicians, and they put on a wonderful concert. He is very emotive and engaging with the audience, and I would assume, Ron, that you're going to send out an email blast on that later in the week.
Yep, Wednesday probably.
Okay.
While we're talking about jazz, it's actually going to be a jazz weekend. Saturday, I just gave out a permit today for the North Oldham High School Jazz Band. They're going to do a free show Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon, I should say, at 4:30.
And I'm sure all that will be cleared away in time for our Sunday concert.
Yeah,
and
they don't really have anything to bring, so
yeah. Well, I mean, they're going to have to bring some chairs, so I'm assuming they'll cart them all off.
I would think.
And then we'll need about 4 chairs for Ron Jones.
Okay.
And Doug, are you going to be there to greet people and
I
serve?
I will be there, and I'll say we went last year, and Liza and I are not particularly big jazz fans, but we thought it was terrific. It's very
It's accessible jazz.
accessible. That's the word I was looking for. I started to say approachable, but it is very
Yeah.
accessible. It's a lot of fun. Very, very, very nice evening. Of course, it didn't hurt that the weather was perfect last year, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that we have that good luck again.
I know. I haven't looked at the forecast yet, so it's early though. So I already have the check. John Carter took care of all of that before he left town, and so I have the payment for Ron. And then Doug, if I understood you correctly, you'll be welcoming people and introducing the artists,
I will.
correct? And I sent a
Yes.
bio, a brief bio, briefer than we had last year, actually.
Okay, good.
And I sent that, you should have a copy of it. Ron should have a copy of it. If anybody
Excellent.
doesn't have a copy of it, I have a copy of it. So, all right, well, we will look forward to this Sunday night and hope that all works out with the weather.
Ron, we need to ask you if you can move the trucks
Yep.
out of the parking lot. And then I'll check with Jeff Sherrard about the police officers.
Yeah, and coming up in June is the Rumors Band, and they are a fabulous cover band that they do songs ranging from the 50s and Neil Diamond stuff all the way up to Taylor Swift. And they'll throw in a little country along the way. But the new thing that we have for that concert is a food truck. We have lined up the sweet and savory food truck to be there at 6:30. The concert starts at 7. So we'll want to promote that, make sure everyone knows, and hopefully the Chamber of Commerce can help us publicize that event with plenty of lead time to do that. The Kids Fest.
So, Carolyn, let's
Yes.
talk for just another minute. You and I had talked about the safety concerns that we've got about people crossing US 42
Yes,
and about possibly putting a volunteer at the intersection to direct people to cross Fox Harbor and cross the 42 at the crosswalk.
right.
Do we need to do anything about that? Have we got that under control?
Well, we don't have that under control. I mean, I thought that the police was going to be involved in that. David, what's your?
Yeah, especially, we were hoping that you would talk with the chief about having somebody come out there and be able to monitor that and see, help people
Okay.
get across if the crowd is big enough that they need to.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we don't know. I guess we can tell if anybody crosses 42 and we see them crossing, we'll know if we have to worry about that at the end of the evening.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I don't know whether it is going to be that much of an issue this time. It might be for the Rumors Band. And then when we get on into Cheryl Rouse and, some of the, I don't know. It's hard to.
We definitely want to have that for the Kids Fest, so that if there's enough people there and parents trying to bring kids across 42 for Kids Fest, that we have a police escort to be able to control that for us. And Ron was going to talk to you about that after our last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of in the hands of the city to decide what to do about the whole
Okay.
crossing issue.
Okay. I'll talk with Jeff about it. I'm thinking we might do better employing volunteers in that role rather than a police officer. And there is an expense associated with having the police doing something that's not, you don't have to have all the training they've got and you don't have to carry a weapon to help people cross the street or direct them in the right direction. So let's think about that a little more and see what we can come up with.
Okay, the Kids Fest, David, do you want to tell
So
people about that?
we've booked all of the people that need to be contacted in terms of coming. We've had several meetings about it. It's all coming together nicely, and we've concluded that it's going to be a rain or shine event. The only group that can't perform in the rain is the Louisville Leopard partial band that'll be there. But we've concluded with Ron, we even looked at it, that if it's a rain day, we can do it underneath City Hall in the back. And have the tables set up and things like that. And what we would do is, if it appears that the weather looks like it's going to be adverse, we'll plan for that. If it looks like it's going to be a nice day, we'll plan for that and move forward.
Sally said that she needs some volunteers to help with that. And I know, David, you're helping with it. She said she probably, yes?
Yes, and Susan will be there, so there's at least two that'll help. And I know Sally's gonna be there and her cousin will be there. And
Yeah.
so we'll work on, we've got a meeting coming up after in the first part of June to finalize all the things, and we'll figure out how many volunteers we need and put out the word for that.
Yeah, she thought she might need 3 or 4 more volunteers, or 2 or 3. And I don't know whether she had counted Susan in that.
Yeah.
Whether she knew Susan was coming or not. She knew you would be there. So,
And as I understand it, we hope that we'll have the volunteer t-shirts by then, right, Ron?
Yes.
yes.
Can you all hear me? I got gremlins today.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There were a couple of other things that Tina was going to report on today. She has been in touch with people that will be doing the timing for the trail bash. And apparently there's some issues to work out with that, but not insurmountable, I don't think. So she's got that under control. She's also been working on an application for a new student volunteer to be a member of the council, as Chrysler has been this past year and has done such a wonderful job. It's going to be, those are going to be hard shoes to fill. But Tina's working on that, and we'll be sending that out soon and hoping to get some good applicants for that. Scout update, Lynn?
Yes, we have 2 kiosks being built by 2 different scouts, Jacob Early and Harrison Reed. One of these gentlemen I talked to, about a year ago, and the other at 4 or 5 months ago. And I keep getting little sporadic emails in their progress. I expect we'll see more when school is out, but I'll be following up with them. One will, of course, go in the pavilion area. The other one we're thinking about putting over at the entrance to Eagles Way Trail. And Ron, when I get some call that they're near, I'll get with you to mark a spot, but I don't think we're at the marking the spot stage just yet.
All right.
So I'll let you know, but hopefully these things, of all the things we've done out there, these are more complex. A lot of times you can have a scout and a dad with good intentions, but you really need to have someone in the mix who have some decent carpentry skills to go back and make all the cuts and handle all the different things we're dealing with to put those together. And we've been fortunate so far, we've had that. And so I've given the instructions, talked to them. I've had comments back and forth and all of that. So they've got the information. Hopefully we'll see some good results in all of this soon.
Sounds good. Anything else, Lynn?
And that's all I've got.
Okay. We have someone new to introduce to you today. I think he's with us by phone. His name is Dominic Zullo, and he is going to be a new volunteer for the parks. I'll see if I can get this introduction correct. And Dominic, if you're on, you can you can correct me if I say anything that's not accurate. Dominic has a BA in biology with an emphasis in ecology, and he is currently working on an online master's degree from the University of Idaho. He needs 120 volunteer hours, so he needs to do an internship, and he's elected to do that with our parks. And I think, Ron, you have met with Dominic. There you are. Hello and welcome. You've met with Dominic, right? And so can you give some ideas of some of the things that he might be doing to help?
Oh, we've got all kinds of stuff in store for him. He's going to be volunteering at some of the shows and events. Think we talked about doing some invasive species removals and just a whole plethora of stuff. I'll let Dominic cover some of it. Dom, you're muted, by the way.
Oh yeah, I just didn't want to
There you go.
interrupt.
Oh, please interrupt. I hate talking.
Of course, yeah. I'm basically just interested in helping with what I can. As was mentioned, my degree is in fish and wildlife management. But you know, a lot of what we learn about is getting involved with stakeholders and speaking with people. So really, any kind of work that needs to be done, interacting with people, working in the parks, you know, maintenance, that kind of stuff, I'm happy to help with.
That's
Sounds
great.
like he may be our new safety officer for the intersection of US 42 and Fox Harbor Road.
Good suggestion.
Also, Dominic, I was going to ask you, we have this concert coming up on Sunday night. And we don't need anyone on site to help with that aspect of it. But if I send you some information about the concert, it would be great if you could send it out to some of your friends in your address book, some other people who maybe live in Prospect or live near the area and might be interested in coming. Would you want to do that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm living in the estates of Hunting Creek, so I'd very easily be able to like hand out flyers and stuff like that around.
Could I get your email address?
Oh, yeah. Would you like me to just list it off, or do you want me
Yeah,
to
well,
email it?
I'm having trouble hearing you. Is there anyone else having trouble? It's sort
Yeah,
of
there's a
breaking up.
little audio problem.
A little,
Sorry.
Yeah. You can try to give me your email address, and if I can't hear you, I'll ask you to repeat it.
Carolyn, I can send it to you so he doesn't have
Okay.
to broadcast his email.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a good suggestion, and I'll get that from Ron, and I'll send you some information about the Sunday concert. Okay, and we appreciate that. I did put out 17 placements of our concert posters in Prospect businesses as well as Parks kiosks. And then I added a couple more posters, one in the New Paul's Market on US 42 and one in the Heine Brothers on US 22. So hopefully we're getting the word out, and then with Ron's email blast this Wednesday, hope we'll have a good crowd Sunday night.
Carolyn, it might be helpful if you send whatever you send to Dominic to all of us, because I can forward that on to individuals and make a sort of a personal appeal
Okay,
that they attend. And maybe if we all do that to 4 or 5 or 6 or more people, we might get some new folks.
yeah. That's a good suggestion. Thanks for that. I'm making notes as I speak here. All right. Our next meeting date, Linda has proposed Monday, June 10th at 5 p.m. Does that sound okay? That would be the day after our next concert.
Works for me.
Okay. It's good. Any other business?
So the concert on June 9th is also at 7.
Yes, with the food truck at 6:30.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm putting that down too.
I did have one thing to bring up / show you all. If you will look behind me, we had some visitors in the park. Actually, we still do. That was
Oh,
a bee. That was a
They're
bee.
still there?
Yeah, they just moved from the middle of the playground or the middle of the picnic area off into a tree over to the side. I think they're going to be all right there. because they're far enough out of the way and they're pretty docile.
They're bees?
They're honeybees.
Oh,
So I
And we-
was hoping we'd come up with prospect honey to sell.
Well, that may happen if the raccoons and possums don't beat us to it. Unfortunately, they built their nest really, really low, so I don't think it's going to last. But I'm not going to be the one to take them out and face the backlash for that one. So
so they have, you've seen their nest?
Mhm.
Or their hive or whatever
Yeah,
it
it's
is,
a-
their hive?
the swarm was the interesting part. We had a father and daughter out there, and he came in. And he goes, you might have a little bit of a problem out there. I'm like going, what? And he's like, there's bees. There's a lot of bees. And I walked out, and they were just grouping up on the tree, and I was like, yep,
Well, honeybees aren't aggressive, so
not
that's a good
normally.
thing.
No.
But yeah, well, hopefully that won't be a problem.
I'll say we had a nest in my back, or a hive in my backyard about 3 years ago. It was the best year my garden ever had. So
Yay for the bees, you know?
yay for the bees.
Okay, anything else for the good of the committee?
I'd just like to say, I'll be here the rest of the summer to like continue my role, but I leave for school August 12th. So I don't know if I'll be at that August meeting, but I'll pretty much done at the end of the summer.
So
Well-
remind us again where you're going in the
Wofford,
fall.
which is I'm going to Wofford, which is like a small liberal arts school in South Carolina.
Hey,
I Googled it. It looks like a great school. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you've done. You've been a wonderful volunteer and boy, I wish we had more like you.
Well, I
We
appreciate it.
we could always count on you to do what you said you were going to do and more. So
Well, I'll
He-
keep
he
trying to.
set a high bar for the next person.
Well, I'm
fill
gonna
his
try and keep
shoes.
you guys getting some volunteers. I passed on Linda's email, and I'll send them yours too, Ron, just so they have it, just in case. But I'm gonna give it to the head of the environmental club at my school and the head of our like service organization, so that you can still have access to some SANX volunteers in the future.
sounds good.
Thank you very much.
And I think, Chrysler, there are a fair number of St. X students in Prospect, if I'm not mistaken.
Lots of them, and there's a lot in Prospect, and a lot like close to Prospect too. But I mean, there's enough of them where they send out a bus to the Dairy Queen parking lot across 42. So I
Wow.
think there's a considerable amount. So yeah, so you might get lucky again in next year. I don't know how well they'll advertise it at school, but you might get another St. X kid next year. I know I'll definitely tell my teacher to advertise it. So
That's great. Thank you.
yes.
All right, well, that is all I have on the agenda. If there's no further business, I will call the meeting.
Thank you.
Closed.
Okay. Thanks, Carolyn.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Everybody, see you. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Good to see everybody.
You too.
Dominic, nice to meet you.